Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, my fellow Chibits. Today, I am here to bring you a manga chapter review of Fairy Tail chapter 419. This chapter of Fairy Tail, I'm gonna say, I like the start of this arc. I really like the start of this upcoming arc when it comes to Fairy Tail, because what this chapter does is it lets us know that this upcoming arc is where Natsu and Lucy and Happy, they are trying to hunt down guild members, for instance, you know, Erza and everybody else, Gray, Juvia, all them, and they're trying to get Fairy Tail back together. That's pretty much what Natsu, Lucy, and Happy are doing at the end of this chapter, and that's pretty much setting the goal for this arc, for what is going on. So we're gonna have a lot of adventure going on. Like, we're gonna get to see Fairy Tail go off on an adventure. We're gonna get to see Natsu and Lucy and Happy, like the old original crew from the beginning of the series, actually working together to accomplish missions and stuff like that, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I mean, the setup of this chapter really has me excited to see what Hiro Mashima is going to do with this point forward, because I mean, Hiro Mashima has a lot of things he could do with this upcoming arc. Like, he has a lot of potential. He could definitely make a really good change and tone shift in the story, and if he does decide to do this, the story can get really good. And I wonder if we're gonna get to see, like, any tragic things with the characters that, you know, we haven't seen in like 1 year's time. With this 1 year time skip, a lot of things can happen in 1 year, and there could also be characters that maybe have passed on, died, or something like that, and I wonder if there's going to be anything like that. I mean, I wonder if Hiro Mashima will try to do something like this with one of the Fairy Tail guild members, because it would definitely be interesting to see. And Hiro Mashima has set up some great potential. I really hope he uses this 1 year time skip to the fullest. I do, because this arc is shaping up to be a very good turning point into Fairy Tail, so I'm quite excited. So getting into the details of this chapter, for the most part, this chapter, it's a pretty simple chapter. Like, the structure of the chapter reminds me of the old Fairy Tail chapters, like the very old original parts of Fairy Tail, like the first 30 to 40 chapters of Fairy Tail. That's exactly what this chapter reminded me of. Like, it reminded me of the old days, when I first started actually watching and reading Fairy Tail. I remember when I first started watching Fairy Tail, like, it only had about 42 episodes the time I actually was watching Fairy Tail. It was right before the Laxus arc, you know, when Laxus, you know, rebelled and all that, and he was causing havoc in the town. I caught up to the anime around that time, and pretty much, this feels like the original Fairy Tail I know and love, and I like how Hiro Mashima is trying to add this old Fairy Tail vibe I knew from the very original part of the series, and it really made me have nostalgia. It did. So this was one of those type of nostalgic chapters. I mean, if you really like the original old Fairy Tail, like the beginning part chapters of the series, you definitely will like this chapter, because that's exactly what it felt like. And to see how also Natsu has, like, slightly improved, like, he held himself back in this chapter to where he didn't really pick on Lucy. Like, he was gonna enter Lucy's room in this chapter, and he was gonna write all over her face with Happy. And the thing was, he stopped doing that when he realized what type of work Lucy has been doing. She's been looking for all the guild members, and you see, you know, everybody's information, all that, like where they've been about, their whereabouts, all over this board, and he saw that Natsu and Happy looked at it. He got, you know, kind of saddened a little bit, and so he decided not to really pick on Lucy on that, and so he just started havoc on the castle. And that, I laughed my ass off. Like, Natsu literally just put fire on the Royal Kingdom's castle. Like, just put fucking fire and said Fairy Tail on it. And you gotta love how the king is like, I forgive him. I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like, you gotta love that shit. That's just like, oh my god. It's just too damn good. So, the chapter. Very simple, simplistic chapter. It is. It's a very simplistic chapter. I mean, the only thing you can really get that's really important out of this chapter is that Natsu has cut his hair, so his old kind of character design is back, which is kind of upsetting. I was hoping he would keep long hair. That's one of the only things I'm really disappointed with this chapter, because Hiro Mashima could have worked with that long hair of Natsu. Oh, dude, that would have looked badass. I would have loved that time skip type, you know, hair look of Natsu. But he decided to cut it off. I guess it's because, you know, it's easier to draw a character you've gotten accustomed to over the years instead of drawing a new character design for a new character. Like, I mean, if you're an artist and a drawer, and you are, like, drawing a character for so many years, it's probably very easy to draw this character in a certain, like, fashion, than instead of actually adding a new hairstyle. And so, I could see why Hiro Mashima would want to do something like that. It'd probably make it easier on him to revert back to the old Fairy Tail Natsu type look from the original series instead of, you know, this newer look he had after the time skip. So I understand what Hiro Mashima is doing, but it's kind of upsetting because there was a lot of potential in that. But overall, good chapter. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, and do you want me to review Fairy Tail manga chapters weekly? Depending on the chapter, of course. It depends on the chapter. It really does. If it's a chapter I absolutely despise, I'm not even going to review it. But I highly doubt something like that will happen anytime soon. So do you want me to, you know, review Fairy Tail weekly, like, you know, the manga? It's up to you, Chibi. It really depends on all of you. So you all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.